Okay, so let's get started.
The dog. Waiting.
Come on up. Okay. All right, let me just do this. Good morning, Carrie. And okay, so let's go. Let's do this. Let me just make sure I got this down. And we are ready. So today we're going to be doing some things that we've been doing before, but it's going to be a little bit more Earth-centric. A lot of people are very kind of anxious, and there's a lot of stuff that's sort of swirling around, and working with the earth energy is really grounding. Kind of brings everything down, like reconnects us to planet Earth when we're like, and we're off into who knows what, but it's really good to kind of regain our feelings of centeredness, and um and keeping our feet on the earth so we don't go flying off into anxiety world on a whim. So let's start. Actually, I've been doing a lot of knitting. If anyone works with your hands, another really great way, it's basically like QiGong, is working with your hands in like a repetitive fashion. It's very grounding. It's basically like a built-in meditation. So if anyone has in the past worked with their hands, whether you're an artist, I know that we have Santiago here, who's a brilliant artist, but you don't have to be a professional artist. You could just enjoy putting your hands, well, whether it's an artist in the garden or if it's an artist with different mediums and knitting, having things that kind of also occupy our hands so we're not on our devices, which is always, I think, a good thing. But it also kind of helps to reconnect our brain and mental functionality into something that's happening right now as concrete. And so I've been doing a lot of knitting, and now I'm giving myself carpal tunnel because I keep knitting. So we're going to start with some silk reeling. So this is where we move our hands in certain and other joints in certain ways to help lubricate the joints. So we're going to start by clasping our hands, fingers, and we're just going to start making spirals with our wrists. So you see how we're working our way almost like a little spiral through the wrists, just starting to open up. So the premise in acupuncture is that there are these channels, the meridians that move through the body, but there's different levels of where, if chi is more to surface, or when it goes more interiorly, and where it binds up, and it tends to bind up around these big joints, right? A lot of movement and motion. If we don't move and create movement throughout these joints, then things get stuck, and then we get pain, maybe arthritis. So this is a really great way. Or if you've been doing things like knitting that are repetitive, she can get stagnant. So this is a good way to stretch, create some more mobility. And then we start to move into the elbows. So now the elbows, and we're going to start moving from the center. So what that means is as the right elbow comes forward, I'm actually moving my right hip forward. So we're moving from the hip, the waist, the center, getting some movement into the elbows and then into the shoulders. So they can start moving. And so kind of want to avoid going too far on the sides because then we're really just laterally bending. So kind of keeping yourself upright and really moving from the hips, and then letting the shoulders come forward, coming up and forward. So we're lubricating the shoulder joints. We're moving energy through the hips. And go nice and slow. Yeah, I think I was knitting for like 3 hours, and I was like, now my wrist really hurts. So I'm like, maybe I should not knit for 3 hours in a row. And then we're gonna pause here and we'll go in the reverse direction. So we're gonna pull that right hip back as the right elbow comes back, and then pulling the left hip back as the left elbow comes back. So we're just starting to back pedal, moving the joints in the opposite direction. So creating this sort of silky energy throughout the joints. And you're also, if you see, kind of opening up the sides of the rib cage also. And then let's just come back down, take everything out for a moment. And then let's reclasp the hands. Okay, so that your palms start facing your lungs. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, you're going to turn so your palms face away from you and then stretch your arms forward so that you're bending the upper body, tucking the chin down on the exhale. So inhale, nice, slow, deep breath in. And then exhaling, so moving the breath towards the back of the body, stretching between the shoulder blades. And then inhale. And exhale. Do a few more. Nice, slow inhale and nice, slow exhale. Really stretching the palms forward. And then let's keep the hands clasped. I have to refix my earbuds here. Hang on, they're falling out. Keep the hands clasped. Now we're going to go up and down. So we're starting with the palms facing up. So inhale, you're going to bring the hands up, flip them facing out, and then up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we're going to slowly bring the hands back down. And then as we complete the exhale, squeeze your elbows together. So like at the bottom of the exhale, just think of like squeezing everything out of the lungs. And then inhale again, we extend up. And then exhale. We inhale and raise the arms up. We're allowing the rib cage to fully expand, stretching the intercostal muscles. And then on the exhale, we're really allowing our arms to help that contraction, helping to exhale more deeply. And now this time, let's inhale. Let's keep the arms facing up. Keep your feet rooted in the ground. And then you're just going to lean over to the left. So you're still pressing through the palms of the hands, pressing down through the opposite foot. So if we're reaching over to the left, really press down that right foot. And you'll feel a whole stretch maybe from the ankle, up the leg, up the hip, the right side of the rib cage, all the way up into the shoulder. And then inhale to the center, re-stretch up, and then let's exhale over to the right, pressing down through that left foot. And then inhale, let the arms come down. And let's go right into knocking on the door of life. So you might feel a little bit differently now that we've stretched through the shoulder blade, between the shoulder blades, right? So that the upper body feels a little loose. So you really want to allow your arms, your head, neck, shoulders to be free. to feel free. And then we're wrapping our arms around our lower rib cage, the lower back. Happy November, everyone. And let's come up below the collarbone. And to the very top of the shoulders. Back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. And let's start to unwind. Okay, so let's do spinal cord breathing, but with healing sounds. So healing sounds, you're literally generating a vibration, right? Sounds are vibrations through the vocal cords, and they do create a certain resonance in the body. So we're going to start with spinal cord breathing. On the exhales, and we're going to do the sounds, and as we exhale, you're going to open up your hands. So the palms and the hands are free as we exhale. Okay, so on the inhale, I'm gonna let's do a few without the healing sounds, just getting into the movement. So inhale, hands come up by the head, and then exhale, curling forward, nice and slowly. So as we continue, just normally extending, contracting. As a quick recap, the sound of metal is, so it's TSSS. I'll go over this with each one also as we go through them. The sound of water is CHOOO, so sh. The sound of the liver is sh, like you're shushing someone. The sound of the heart is ha. The sound of the spleen and stomach is like an HOOO, like you're trying to fog up a window. So it's back of the throat. And then the triple warmer is HEEE. So let's exhale forward, inhale. Now open up the hands and it for the sound of the lungs. And we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, and the sound of the lung, the metal element is, and again, inhale, and then let's do a few with no sound. The next one we will do when I cue you is for the water, the kidney, which is the CHOOO. So inhale, and then inhale, and then and again. Now a few with no sound. And the next sound we will be doing is for the liver, which is the sh. Now let's inhale, and on the next exhale, we'll go. And inhale. And again. And then a few without any sound. I also meant to tell you that the sounds clear the emotional energy that are connected to each of them. So the three that we've done so far, the metal element, so that TSSS sound helps to clear grief, sadness. The sound of the water element, the kidney, that CHOOO, is to clear fear. The sound of the liver, which was the sh, was to clear anger. That's associated with the liver. And now we'll go into the heart, that HAAA, which clears impatience. So nice inhale, and hastiness. And then exhale. Inhale, and then one more time. Inhale, and I'm going to pause here for a moment because this is actually really interesting. So the heart also is associated with its fire. There's a lot more heat that gets generated up here than the lower body. So the sound of the water element, that CHOOO, if you put your hand in front of your mouth and feel the air, and then do the sound of the heart, which is HAAA, you might notice the sound of the heart is hotter. The sound of the water element, that cooling, nourishing, that CHOOO, is helping to cool. It's helping to move through the coolness. And then the sound of the heart, that fire energy, that is literally hotter. So it's really a balancing technique. Let's continue on now with the spleen and stomach, which is that HOOO, like you're fogging up a window. Inhale. Clearing away worry, which is the emotion of the earth energy, the spleen and stomach. A few without sound now. And the last one, the triple burner, which integrates all three levels, is the HEEE sound. So let's do one more inhale. And then inhale. And last one, inhale. And let your arms drop down for a moment. Let's just give ourselves a pause here. Okay, so let's go into a wide stance. So we are going to go into igniting the inner fire. So we're just constantly balancing, right? Yin and yang, and hot and cold, up and down, above and below. So igniting the inner fire is where we start. So placing our palms together, and like you're generating some friction between the palms. So you're just twisting the palms back and forth to generate some heat. This is the channel of the heart and pericardium, right? So we're just bending at the knees, back and forth. And then what we'll do is, as that right elbow comes up, we're going to shift the weight over to the right, and then you're going to turn and look left. and then come back to the center, and then shifting now the left elbow, shifting over to the left, and then looking right, and then coming back to the center. So as that right elbow comes up, we're shifting our weight to the right, and then you turn and look in the opposite direction, and then coming to the center, and now shifting the weight over to the left as that left elbow comes up, and then turn, look right. And then if you can dip down, it's a little bit of a leg strengthening exercise, and then we'll just go back and forth. Really great for leg strength, hip mobility, generating that internal fire to help circulation. This is a fantastic exercise for circulation. And it's getting, since we're turning, twisting our head in the opposite direction, it's really great for the spine. So just back and forth, shifting the weight from one foot to the other. Whatever side we're shifting to, that elbow is coming up. And then you turning and looking in the opposite direction. And now let's come to the center. You can take the bend out of the knees for a moment. Let's connect to our breath. So heart to the sky. And then exhale, head to the earth. And again, heart to the sky. Head to the earth. And one more. We are going into that one more time before we go into our flows. Let's come back into our, and you don't have to, your feet can be a little further in, could be a little further out, right? But you want to have a nice bend in your knees, palms together. Then we shift the weight over to the right as that right elbow comes up, turn, look left. To the center, and over to the left, turning and looking right. And then we'll go a little bit faster. And then don't forget to breathe. So inhaling and exhaling. A few more. Getting that circulation going throughout the lower body, the upper body, the spine. And then come to the center. Again, heart to the sky on the inhale. And then exhale, sinking in. And again. And one more time. All right, let's bring our feet back to a closer stance. And let's shake everything out first. Maybe use some healing sounds. Whatever you feel, if you're feeling sadness, maybe if you're feeling fear, if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling impatience or hastiness, if you're feeling worry or agitation, any of those. I might have forgotten one, but you get the gist. Whatever you feel, or just shake and breathe. And let's start to slow down. Okay, so we're going to work with the earth energy. So we'll be doing pulling up the earth, what looks like Buddha holding up the earth, but we're allowing the arms to come back down, making a big circle down to single-armed pebble in the pond, which we've done before. And then connecting to the universe where we play with our chi ball. So let's start with pulling up the earth. So we'll start with the palms facing up, right? Connect to the earth, feel your feet really rooted. And then on the inhale, raise your arms all the way up above the head. And then exhale, bringing your arms down the sides, all the way back down. And sink down a little bit as we come down, so the knees bend slightly. And then we inhale and raise up. And then slowly exhale all the way back down. Right? The earth has a tremendous amount of healing energy. Right? It's the energy of transformation. So in the inhale, just imagine that you're pulling up this nourishing earth energy that's really grounding, letting it spread through. And then imagine your arms are like these little leaves floating back down, right? The leaves fall off the trees, they fall to the earth, they decompose, right? And then this new growth is generated underneath. Going nice and slow. And then softening the edges. So think about the river and the edges, the river banks that contain the water. We have this structural scaffolding, right? Our bones and tendons and ligaments that are just like scaffolding, like keeping everything sort of together so that the water that's running through the river can run easily, circulate well. So we have the structure and scaffolding. Now we relax into it and allow the water to flow easily. Let's do one more inhale, and then we'll pause at the bottom of the exhale. Let's come into our chi ball for a moment. Again, feeling your feet really rooted into the earth, connecting the tailbone down, right? And even tucking the chin in a little bit, creating a little more space at the back of the neck so that your cervical spine is in alignment with your thoracic spine, which is in alignment with your lumbar spine, through the tailbone connecting to the earth. You have this rod that's going from above the center of your head down the center line of the body, out the perineum and into the earth. And everything else off of that is loosey-goosey because we have this strong internal center that's connected. And then from here, let's turn so that the right hand is on top, the left hand is on bottom. So single-armed pebble in the pond. We'll take that top arm and then we're going to turn slightly over to the left. And as we do, extend the right arm out gently in front of you, around in a circle. And as we pull back in, like you're scooping back into the center. And now that hand is below, turning the top hand so it's facing the bottom hand now. And now it turns slightly to the right now. Then the left arm out, bring it around in a circle, and then inhaling back to the center, tucking that arm underneath, turning the top hand now facing down. So we turn over to the left, reaching the right arm out and around, inhaling back in, and now exhale over to the right, exhaling, exhaling, and then inhaling back in. So it's a slow exhale, gently. Remember, moving from the hips and the waist. So we're turning right from the center slightly over to the right, and that arm just floats out. And then our body turns around in a circle. So the arm is just an extension, and then back to the center. The pebble in the pond, this is also an earth-centric flow. Just think about a pebble that's just placed into a still pond, and you see the ripples, the slight subtle ripples that disseminate out, creating that vibration. Nice and slowly moving from the hips and the waist, the arm just extends out around in a circle, tucking back underneath, back to the center. And we're creating these small spiral circles, right? Spirals, that's basically life, at least on planet Earth, right? Life grows in spirals. That element, that connotation of movement, right? Spiraling, the DNA helix. Trees grow not directly straight up. There is a slight sort of spiral action of the branches, the leaves. And thinking even of the art of transformation, right? Even cooking, right? We put all these ingredients together and then we stir, right? We can do that energetically too. We're just stirring these different qualities of life, of the energetic force, creating a harmonious movement within and around you. We are all alchemists, our own energetic alchemists, or literally, if you're in the kitchen, right? That's cooking and putting ingredients together that start meshing and melding and marrying is a form of alchemy. Now let's come around back to our chi ball for a moment. And now let's turn so that our left hand is on top, right on the bottom. So we're still kind of holding this invisible ball. And then on the inhale, inhale that top arm so it floats up and then turn so the palm's facing up. And then that lower hand is facing the earth, just connecting to that earth below, but also just think about the stars, the millions of other planets that we are one of an astronomically high number of other stars, planets, pulling in that energy above and below. And then turn so the palms are facing one another. And then exhale that top arm down. And then we'll turn the ball, the invisible ball, 3 times. We're going to turn 1, 2, 3, and then inhale that top, the opposite arm should be on top. Now we're going to inhale it. Palm faces the sky, lower hand faces the earth. Right? Igniting the fire that we did before, generating that heat, that openness in the palms of our hands. Right now we've connected and opened up. And now we're just connecting to the space above us and below us. And on the next exhale, turn the palms so they're facing one another, and then exhale that top arm down. And then turn 1, 2, 3, and inhale. And then exhale down. And then 3 times. 1, 2, 3, inhale. And exhale. Top arm floats down. 1, 2, 3. And exhale down. Turning. And last time, connecting above and below. And then exhale that top arm down. And let's turn 3 more times. And now just hold in front of us. And then the arms drop down. Let's inhale the arms from the bottom all the way up, and then the hands float down the center line on the exhale. Inhale. And last one, let's inhale, bringing the feet together. Exhale all the way down. Let's bring one hand on top of the other below the belly button. And let's pause here one last time, feeling our feet rooted. Exhaling the shoulders away from the ears. Reminding ourselves that we have this connection below us and that we have a tremendous amount of resilience, right? We're sturdy, connected, but flexible and resilient. And then when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. I hope you had, oh, here she comes. I hope you have a really great weekend, and come back to your qigong, especially next week if things, amplify and, lots of anxiety and stress. So coming back to practices that help to keep us grounded, because we also want to, be engageful and interact, but in a really intentional way that's rooted in groundedness and not reactivity. So love you all. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.
Thank you.